It's understanding all these principles together, how the money moves, how fast it's moving. What is the market cap, not only of the entire market, but the market of the trading pair you're looking at? How much money is in that ecosystem? How much of that money is being traded? You don't want to enter a small market cap and expect to get out and you find out it's only trading a few $1,000s a day. For every buyer, there needs to be a seller, and for every seller, there needs to be a buyer.
What up, everybody? Show 74. We're just creeping up there to that 80. Your daily fix with NFA OFC. Not financial advice, of fucking course. We're here at 7-ish p.m. PST, April 24th. But the very beginning, we're going to do money flow cycle, where we check where the money's moving in the markets. We can make better decisions. Where is Pope?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, you are unmuted all the time?
Ish to a factor. I did a couple of whispers underneath you there, but clearly you didn't hear. Thanks for everybody's patience. We're always trying to be somewhat consistent, but sometimes IRL steps in, and that's what this is all about as well. And, you know, traffic, dinner, we got a little carried away in the day, and here we are. But we made it, and I'm not panicked. Are you panicked?
Oh, I'm so friggin' relaxed. I'm ready to do this. Jessica Wildchild's here, Ed America's here, and I'm ready to get going. I think the first thing we're going to look at is money flow cycle, obviously, like I mentioned, market cap, dominance, Bitcoin, ETH, and then we're going to go into all the freaking trades that we've talked about. It's unreal how many there are.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to take you a while, so let's 7-ish start.
There it is. I mean, let's be honest. Clearly, a few candles ago, and when we were sleeping, I think it was New York that woke up and chose hate. And there was a lot of money that left the market, and a lot of profits were taken. The trades we're in and how that affects us, well, we'll see momentarily. But we always talk about how retracements are healthy. We expect them, and we always have cash on the sidelines to rebuy in. But when they come this fast and out of nowhere, sometimes it seems it's always frustrating. And that's part of the emotion and part of the strategy to be able to manage that. Did I see this? No. Do I always know there's going to be things like this in this market? Absolutely. And man, like out of nowhere, like, damn. And we'll go from the high to its low, which ironically is our consolidation box on the 4-hour on the bottom. So 120 billion left the market over the last 20 hours. And we can see that it's fought all the way back on the last 3 candles and currently about $17 billion. And obviously we got the 4-hour micro bear, which means there's a strong possibility that we could go lower. With these 3 candles are showing us is strength in this area, which is this support and resistance. And it has been an IRL day for the most part. I haven't been looking at what's been going on. And I've always been very forward and straight with you guys when sometimes I open up the charts for the show saying, hey, this is the first time I've looked at it, you know. And it is. And what we really want to see here is exactly what it's continuing to do right now. So this just becomes something like this. And we've had them before. And what we don't want is, we can see one here in a bullish. Here was a little one, even though there's still some good wicks. So we want to see very minimal on these micro bear, micro bull lines. And how do we do that? Ooh, there's another one for you, Primo. How do we do that when we just got it on the 4-hour time frame? Because on the daily, clearly we just got our new candle. It's kind of almost because we talked about we've had all this up and that I expected some down. I didn't expect that much down. I didn't expect that much down fast. I thought we might step or hold in here, to be honest. But I always said expect down. And there's our parallel channel of 3 up anyways. So we know we should expect some down. It's holding this line right now. A split there, shouts. But on the daily, we started to get that curl. And then now it is leveling. It's starting to want to turn. Today is going to be a big day for this. We need to hold above this 2.289 trillion, or we will see a dump, and it'll happen fast. And I would probably exit the trades we're in just to maximize the capital. But I think right now, 3 candles down now in this direction. Isn't the end of the world, and is somewhat healthy if we hold this here. Because right now, this is our major support. So if we can hold this here on this daily candle and then for tomorrow night's show, that does show a lot of strength. So we'll leave this set up. Oh, this is on the daily. Let's get these on the right.
Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we have to monitor, within the hours between now and the next show, or like in terms of people doing their own research and stuff individually from us, if it needs to through the day.
Well, that's what I say. Let's zoom in, right? Like, so on the 4-hour, you can see we are holding here. And we have another hour and a half on this candle, and we really want that. But yeah, when I ever just play the safest, if I get a micro bear or bull fire, typically if you get a micro bear, it means more pain. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, a micro bear, micro bull, it's one of our NFA OFC indicators. It is an EMA cross, absolutely. But it's the days that we use. And everybody has their own secret sauce, their own secret formula. And we have our indicators and our strategy that for me just have worked. And I've always said I'm not an expert. I'm sharing what I'm doing. I've been blessed that this became my living. And part of our strategy is always to prepare for black swans or red days. We have shorts about how I get excited when days are red because I always want to have dry powder. I always have dry powder. Cash, capital, money on hand. That's what it is if you don't know. Or liquid or liquidity. Because in crypto, money can move and it can move so fast. And we saw that today. And I even said on some of our trades, HBAR went off the charts. And I even said, am I taking profits? No, because long-term and IRL. But if I was swing trading, would I? Yes. And if you took those profits on HBAR, power to you, because I think we're right back around where we went up to. We'll get into that in a sec. I just had a quick glance while I was setting up for the show. But what it's already showing me on the 4-hour is steadiness. And it's holding here and has been pulling up. So not a bad spot to consolidate and rebuild. And when we talk about consolidating, we got to remember, like at the end of the day, our consolidation box is from here to here. We're just at the bottom of the interior third. You know, we made it up to the halfway point of all of it, and we just pulled back a little bit. Is the sky falling? No. We already knew on the daily we were still in a micro bear. And when we look at how I normally look at it, I haven't changed any of this. This is what I wanted from eons ago. And, you know, the surprise was this candle for me and how much up. The reaction to respond to that, not so much of a surprise. And you can see we're holding that 2.98, which is a support on the daily from the market cap from, you know, birth. So I'm not panicked. I know these suck. If you're in here for the long haul, you got to change that perspective from suck to fuck yeah, I just got paid and I can put X percentage towards this. I know a lot of you that are following don't do this for a living. You go to your jobs. So don't get caught on the FOMO of the meme shit coins and not following strategy, because this shit is always going to happen. And we can go all the way down here. That's a strong possibility. Right now, the indicators aren't telling us it's going to happen. And I'm not thinking it is. But if it's going to go south from here, it's going to stop at this line. It's going to stop somewhere in here. And then it's going to come down to here. And it might do it in one candle. And those stops are going to be on the smaller time frames. But if you don't have anything in your strategy or how you're looking at this market to incorporate these kind of things, you're going to get burned, man. And then the emotion's going to fuck with you. And then you're going to make bad decisions. It's just my 2 cents. I've been talking to a lot of people in DMs today that freaked out about today's candle. And when we look at the daily of what's been going on in our spread since, you know, the end of February to now, we're not in a bad position. You know, if you want to put boxes and boxes for consolidation, you know, look at where we are. If we hold this here, that shows strength, right? We've had our 3 up and our come down. Where's the new bottom? Where that new bottom is where the strength is. Is it going to be here? Is it going to be here? If it gets down to here, we're not talking about strength anymore. These micro bear, micro bulls are going to start doing that kind of shit. I don't think they are. We've talked about a few times how this bull run's a lot different than the pasts in how fast the money is coming in and out. I haven't had, just because of IRL, a lot of time to swing trade. And by swing trading, for me, I'm not talking these kind of trades we're in that we're expecting a few weeks to a couple months. I trade on the minutes and the seconds. And we just haven't had that opportunity to share that strategy and show you how I do it yet because of IRL. But even in the markets, it's a lot riskier this time because of how fast the money's coming out. And I always say when I'm swing trading on when I'm swing trading on shorter time frames, I'm only doing that in bullish sentiments. I am bullish on the market overall when we are zoomed out. When we are zoomed in on the daily right now, am I bullish? In the big sense? Yeah. In the technical indicator sense? No. This belly is what I'm always looking for. the belly of the micro bear, but I'm still in a micro bear. I am not in a bullish cross yet. And if I'm in a swing trade, I want a bullish cross on the daily. That's safe swing trading. And that's why you've heard me say, if you've followed for a while, this is an accumulation phase. This is not a let's get in and get out, especially if you don't have the time to sit in front of it and watch it on something like this and make it all make sense. I mean, right now on the 15-minute, we have beautiful capitulation. Right? Same on the half. On our 2-hour, just starting to possibly belly. On the 4-hour, we just got the cross. On the daily, we're hoping to continue the pattern that I've been watching. Am I panicked? No. You know, is it a bummer, yesterday's candle? Yeah, totally. And if I had more time to post it in our trades and IRL, I'd be like, yeah, you know, okay, we're going to get out here, we're going to look in here. But all that is research and take time. But if you just play the micro bear and the micro bull on certain time frames and just wait and patience, that'll protect your capital the most. I have a feeling we're going to hug this 2.29 level and start to go back. Starting to see that trend on the 2-hour, on the 30-minute, we have beautiful capitulation entries. And this is where you can go, well, Jay, it looks like it's going south on the 5s. You know, and this is where you can get lost in the smaller time frames. I don't want to stream quick trading on small time frames when it's not bullish, because I know novices will watch and you can get wrecked. One of this shit happens and you're all in and you're not following strategy and you're trading on small time frames, it can be painful. And this is just the market cap. This is the money in the ecosystem. If this falls, Bitcoin gets punished. And the rest, punishment is, you know, a loose word. So dominance kind of doing what we thought it would. When we talked about it yesterday, it needs to hold this line, which ironically it is. And we said, we gave it two possibilities. You know, we said it could go up, could come down, but we're looking for this cross because we want money to come into the market. And the only way to get a lot of money into the market, the effect is it's going to roll into Bitcoin, which is going to send our dominance to you know, levels that we want to get up to. Because when we have this much money in the market, then we can put the money into the alts. Right? Alts get punished right now because it's not an alt cycle. So curious to see how this plays out tomorrow. We do have a bunch of downs where this is a retest. Instead, we had a couple more candles coming for the retest. So curious. Have a look at Bitcoin. Gross. What was it? From its highest high of late to its lowest low of late, 5.5%. We look at gains sometimes in alts that we can do this in an hour. The sky falls when Bitcoin does this. Now this turns into much more bigger percents when you're in alts. And that's where strategy is important. And even from our stink bids before geopolitical events, we're still right in the average of our two bottom bids. So not bad. And look where we bounced off of. Look where that. Oh, look where that wick made it to. Our daily support here, that 63, 8, 12, 99. You know, that's there showing strength at this price. So now on the 4 hour, we do have a micro bear. We can't ignore it. So does it fall and get gross? Because we know the bigger the spread between the lines, the bigger the price action. The narrower, the smaller the price action. Right now, right when you get across, we have no indication. Sorry about that. We have no indication of how these are spreading yet. What we have is support. It came all the way up, came all the way back though, but it is holding right now at that level as well, which is somewhere right around in here. But it held this daily, which is stronger than a 4 hour. That shows strength. That shows optimism to me. So hopefully it does stay like that. So Bitcoin, when we zoom out, it's going to go on the 3-day. Hasn't really deviated from any of our plans. We know it could come down.
Hey,
At any
can you
point.
make that a little bigger for me? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Hey, no worries. Right. So these gray lines are trend lines on the daily. On the 3-day, which we have pretty much 2 days left, which is this candle, I mean, we have masses of up for the last. A pullback is normal. It was gross, but look where it held, just like we talked about. So we want to see it fight back to this level and then come over here on the 3-day, but it's still in this triangle formation and it still can just rocket at any time and in any direction, but it's going to take stops. And we talk about how it's going to take stops, and those stops are going to be in either direction as well. Stopped here, could stop here, could stop here, might stop up here, then here. But so far on the daily trend, it hasn't broken anything that we didn't give it as an option. Just going to put this on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, I normally have that done beforehand. So Bitcoin, the dips always suck when they're big and everybody panics, and then we're going to 12K. Give your fucking head a shake. But when we take a TA and an indicator approach and what's been happening over the last while, I would love for the summer just to do this in this box. If we do this in Bitcoin for the summer and we start to establish this like we are, you then trade and swing within them. And we start to understand the flow. And I talked about for a while, we're going to see some sideways chop. That's sideways chop. And the other thing, everybody goes to the Hamptons, old rich money, and there's typically the pullback. Is that going to happen this May? I don't know. Is it something we need to think about because everybody's probably talking about it, looking at it? Absolutely. But for now, I want to make sure we're holding this in Bitcoin. And as we always say, the money flow dictates all of this. Ethereum. same as Bitcoin, right in the bottom of our two bottom bids, or sorry, right in the middle of our two bottom bids. Possibly a micro bear on the 4-hour. We didn't get it on Ethereum. Got an entry here on Bollinger, coming up to an entry in stochastic, which is showing you movement to the upside. If it holds this level, that's showing a lot of strength for this price point, which is finally over 3,000.
So it could wander kind of up and down like it's caterpilling right now, up that white line that you've already drawn, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I think that one we did on the daily, and then we talk about, you know, how we, you know, that's the curve that we want to see on the daily. It's still right within that curve. It's still right within our weekly consolidation area. If it's in this box, we're good. If it's at the bottom, now we're reassessing. We're virtually slightly in the middle after a pullback candle of tremendous up. 15% in 5 days. 10% roughly in 6. Is the sky falling? Or is it healthy retracements? Is it opportunity if you just got some extra cash in to look at entries? So, yeah, you know, when you're spot trading and you see those percentages go away, they suck. If you're long-term trading, to be honest, you're probably not even checking in and you miss them. You know, if you bought some of our low entries in January, and I probably talked about on the hunt, just, you know, if you bought this now and you just hold it for the next year, you'll be laughing and you won't notice all these pullbacks. But when we're doing longer term swing trades, weeks to a month, the pullbacks you notice a little bit more. Not bad. When you're swing trading, you have to understand where the money is flowing. In swing trading, you know, much smaller time frames. Does that help? Do you have any questions, Katie?
It does help a lot. I'm excited. Are we going on to all of our trades? Holy cow. Where are they, baby? Let's check it out.
You talked me into it. Oh, I did have this from when you were asking about Bitcoin yesterday. Because remember how we started up from scratch, and you were like, I don't understand where Bitcoin was going, and some of that stuff was right in the middle, and I was like, yeah, I can appreciate that. Here we are, right in the middle. I mean, we're not far off the middle of the triangle on the daily, like just a little bit under, let's be honest. Okay, we're right in the middle of stochastic, and we're right in the middle of RSI. We're a little under the median. We've had an entry according to Bollinger, and we might have a leveling off according to our micro bear, micro bull, and we're holding this daily support. So on a daily, Bitcoin's not doing too bad. Just from that TA that you and I looked at earlier when we were trying to figure out where is it on the weekly. Look at that on the weekly. Still bang in there. And then you wanted to go how you zoomed into the 4. And on the 4, we're in a buy. We're in a buy and a buy and fear.
I'm just waiting for a little more of that belly.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
See, Loving it. But it is showing strength in this area.
Confluence.
All right. Resistance here, support here. Looking good. Anyways, as you said, let's get into our trades.
Thanks, man. You're the best.
After a long peak, a great entry, bad news bears of geopolitical events, and our entries still slightly in profit because we followed our strategy and we bought as much down here as we did up here, but we also bought it at a discount down here. So we got more tokens. Even now, I know it's more slight. Yes, you got a green out, red in here. You got a sell here. You could have kind of curling. You could have taken profits there. I would not have faulted you. If I was more IRL or less IRL, more on trades and in front of this, that's where I would. Everything's telling me to. Now we're getting an entry. This is just one of those blips and days of a few months trade, and you don't stress about it. We have the potential of a micro bear. It's looking like it could level out in here. It could come down here. These next few candles will be important. Excuse me. To see where we're at. As we also talked about, there will be some trades we'll be looking at to see how long or what's going on to see if it makes sense to move capital. Right now, I'm in no hurry to move any of this. In fact, I'm more in the accumulation phase that we talked about earlier because all of these are great tokens. So very slight. It has been a slow recovery since we started compared to some of these other ones. I mean, Aave is still following what we wanted it to do, and same thing right back. So if you felt like you missed some of these entries, here you are. Buy red candles. You know, zoom in and see, you know, on the 30, still looks like we're going down. We're holding here, entry, entry, entry. But our micro bear, micro bull indicator is telling us we have more pain. And so is stochastic. We're in fear. So if I was to say, hey, yeah, I missed out on Aave, I want to buy in. Would I buy in right now? No. I'd be watching the 30s because this is pointing down. Anytime these are pointing down, prices go down. If that's on the 30s, to find a decent entry to go long, probably catch a stinky wick, as we call them, on this line. Wouldn't surprise me. Might get something down in here, not sure. It's starting to show strength in this area. But straight down, just continue to watch. It's a game of patience. But if you're trying to make money and you don't want to watch, don't know what to tell you. Algorand same thing, you know, as soon as we pass our bottom buy-in, we start to be in profit because we matched our bids of what we went in on and we got more. Now, we have a nice parallel down, up, bullish wedge right here. Right? A whole lot of touches on the parallel channel. If it continues to hold this looks like the daily support that we have in there, 2027, 2027, that's bullish to turn around. We can see the micro bull, though, is curling. What's going to send this lower? Market cap. Next stop, probably in here, somewhere in this area, and you can get a good entry. Right? It's telling me in here it's a buy coming up. If it holds this area, very bullish and off. And Algorand, when we looked at all these trades, we said, hey, once they start to respond and recover from the market, who's performing better? You're going to see that now as we go through. Some are performing a lot better. Algorand is healthy for all that pullback and how it's been recovered, and now in the middle, nothing wrong with that. AVAX has been nothing but disappointing. Avalanche has so much good shit built on it, so much stuff to come. This has been frustrating. We've already do have the micro bear. It looks like it's trying to hold in between these two levels. Again, this would be a game of patience for me to look for that entry. On the 30s, trying to hold this area, wanting to belly, showing prices coming down lower. You'd probably catch a wick in here or in here, most likely. But to keep this in mind, if you're just tuning in, you know, some of these goals that we're working towards, you know, that's an 80%. Up here would be more, and obviously, and I believe AVAX, I have a strong feeling AVAX will beat its past all-time high, just because of all of the narrative that's being built on it right now. So there's good return. It just sucks when it's in this. And on the weekly, it's even saying there's probably a little more pain, not 100% sure, but here we are. And everything that changes that, total market cap. This is why we start this show every single time with the money flow. And if you are blessed with the time where all you can get to do is watch the money flow, swinging in and on lower time frames, you do much better. But you can see here, yeah, our localized high from March, from where our bottom entry was that we talked about, and our 2 is 75%. These are massive returns. Massive. Whole lot of down, making sense that we're going to hold somewhere in here and start to go. And how I look at it is everything has an up and a down. We know we're going to have constant micro bears and micro bulls. If our micro bear after our last micro bear holds at a higher point, that's fucking bullish. We know we have to get another one eventually. Where does it hold? If it comes all the way right back down to here, now we're questioning what's going on with this project. Is this a good enough trade? Because it's not making higher lows in its next micro bear. And Cello, we've made so much money on this year. It's ridiculous. Not financially. You know, start to notice that a lot of them, just because we're in a Bitcoin cycle, they're all following the same trend, and just some are responding better. We've had a lot of trades that have been settling in here, and we have a few that are settling right around our lower hopeful entries. Same thing though, micro bear. If we get a higher low in this micro bear now, that's good. Dot, Polkadot, there should be no reason long-term hold that this doesn't return dividends. If you're stressed on red candle days and you're not excited to buy in for more entries or accumulation, you're playing with too much money. Never play with money you can't afford to not have stress on. And that number is going to be different for everybody. Let's make some sense of this gibberish. This here is a squiggle of a retest to break the line which we had just on that candle there, and this candle here in 58 minutes is your retest. This is very bullish for Phantom. So our pattern in the wedge now, it went down to this level, which has the wicks at it, and here. And now this is its retest, and its current, localized high is in this area here, where it's going to have its major difficulty before pullback. This one here will probably be a pullback until it recontests here. We can see that we're already starting to have a flat belly, very small lines. Oh, sorry. Very little gap. Entry-ish. Entry. Holding where we wanted it to on a retest. Bullish for Phantom. That's gross. I mean, not to sound like a broken record, but I mean, it needs to really do what the others are to keep that small, because if it doesn't and it goes down, it could easily go right back down. I don't think this will happen, to be honest. This is evidence that it won't. The pullback, if anything, it would go to here before it came down to here or to here. But I always like to look at all scenarios. And I mean, if you got in this entry here and you wrote it up to here and you took profits, hella good on you. So last few trades, Filecoin is, you learn I get upset with something. It's just like, come on, man. It could be coming back into these entries. It is definitely showing this on the 4-hour long game Filecoin, IPFS, AI. There's so much reasons to be excited about this, other than its current price and how we're in it. Curious how this plays out, whether or not I will re-add more here. I really wanted it to see it hold here. Now I really want to see it hold here. Otherwise, we'll have to have a different look at Filecoin. 3-day seems to be holding in here. And I mean, our targets and its use case are high. And I believe at the very least, we should be able to at least get back into these levels for it. And just to give you an idea, current price, roughly quick and dirty to there. Oops, it would help if I click the tool. So patience is sometimes the hardest part of this game. Hedera, I even joked about last night. I wouldn't fault you if you took profits up here. I hope you did. I wasn't expecting this much of a pullback. I was expecting a pullback, but not that much. It seems to hopefully be stabilizing. We'll watch. I mean, we're still in absolute profits, and Hedera is one I will be holding long term. And this also was the blockchain adopted by BlackRock, which was the news which sent this soaring. Hedera being in finance and banking of the Web 2 world, for lack of better expression, was something that I was aware of expecting. Kind of same with XRP and Stellar, but both of those are completely boring to watch and trade in and out of compared to HBAR. Even though XRP might be in for something here. Chainlink holding this weekly. Probably the same thing. And then the same thing again. This is positive indication long term. Why is it positive indication long term? And the money just came down. Well, if we can hold that and hold this, we have a new support for a micro bear, because this here was our last micro bull. We now have a switch, and if it holds here, a higher low, a higher high is then where it would be off to.
You think it would just be booping up against that weekly
in
line
here?
up there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's always going to be contention. Like, let's be honest, anytime we have support, resistance, especially weekly trends, it's always going to come into play. It just depends on what time frame. You know, it might rocket through it on a 4-hour. It might fight at it on the 15s. You know, and that's why, you know, I look at things on completely different time frames for the same things. I don't just do this on the market cap. When I'm trading and I'm swing trading, I actually use an 8-screen time frame for what I'm jumping in and out of. We were on Link. My apologies. So Link, I mean, Link is a steal at this price. Not only in Link, if you don't have some Link just to set and forget, you should. Telcoin, we never actually got in as it wasn't on this exchange. I keep talking about it. This was the entries we gave before the bad news bears of geopolitical. Then once it started to belly, we gave an entry for anybody that took it. From that entry to its peak would have been 14.69, and now it's slightly under, and it's still saying probably price to the downside just based on the micro bear, micro bull, and same with our stochastic. So you may get an you may get a, you know, a stinky wick in this area to this area in here. If you're Intel, I will long bag hold that, just not at the moment. When we talk about how some tokens perform better, this was our entries before the bad news bears geopolitical. This was our entries before the second round of bombs. And we said we were hoping for this kind of curl. And this is where I talk about it might make sense to see how this plays out. If this holds over the next day, it might, or two, it might make sense to roll out a loss on some of these other trades to roll in something that just keep ranking. I don't have enough evidence at this moment to decide to make that trade, but these are the kind of things as a trader goes through my mind. Tying up capital in consolidation at a loss when you're watching other things rip or have evidence that things are still going to rip makes sense to cut the loss and move the capital. Right now, why I'm not saying let's do that is because we do have this curl. Are we going to hold this here, or are we going to turn this around? If this starts to turn around, that scenario, that's where I'm definitely going to look at, do I want to move more capital into TLOS? SNX, What the hell, man? Another one of these looking like we may come into our low stink bid area. Hopefully we get something like that. This may be one that, from our stink bid to here, 16, 18, 3.88. So I'm still bullish on all of these tokens long term. What this trading series is about is, if you're going to be, following us along for the trades and all that kind of a thing, and you're following us along our IRL schedule. So for what I have the time for trading is this. I'm looking at these weeks to months and not stressing about these days, and looking at these as accumulation. Bullish for the long term, 100% absolutely. In the short term right now, these next few 3, 4, 4-hour candles are going to be important and to watch for, because we might get these juicy entries and then they're gone again. And we have a short even on that, where you could be
Time in the market will outplay time, especially if you're just learning. That's why I said this should always just be the small part. Learn the nuances with a little bit. Hold the good projects. Take these 20s, 40s. Some of these have been 84% beam. Hello. Right? Stacks. Hello. We have talked about the while it's been consolidating. I'm waiting for the next little bit more of a pullback, and I'll load up the bags again. If you're always looking for that perfect entry for the long term, you could be standing on the sidelines for the whole damn game.
It just happened to be at the fingertips, and we happened to be talking about it, so it worked out well. But that covers all our trades. I don't know if there were any questions or if anybody had any comments. I hope
No, it was all me just letting people know what trades we were looking at, because I find it's easier to see that way. I just wanted to say, like, everybody should really go back and check some modules again if you need to on certain things, maybe some of the emotional stuff, but also some of the indicators. And then also, everybody who signed up to our Discord and our website, really, and following us, has the opportunity. In 6 days, we're doing a second draw. I think 6 shows. And so if you can go up and sign up on nfaofc.io, then we can get you in there. We get you access to these indicators, so you can actually ask us how to use them. You can see all the modules and actually learn how to use them, because we are now kind of going really fast past them. So if you go and learn, you can kind of join us on these hunts we're doing. And it won't take you long, and you get to watch a fun ape.
And
Ape with lasers.
And if you don't have our indicators that we're talking about, our NFA critical fear and greed, our micro bear and our micro bull, our movement direction, our take profit target, which I don't use on the show a lot, but we get into more of that later. All you need is to get into our Discord, and you need to have TradingView. You need to have the paid version of TradingView, where you get to enable other people's scripts, other people's algorithms, and then we just add you to our list, and you get to use them. We have the modules that show you how to use them. I walk through all of this all the time using them, and to get better at trading or anything in life, 10,000 hours of mastery, right? Or so they say.
And you can learn right from the beginning, or you can come on in, even if you know all that stuff. We want to have your expertise as well, because maybe we're not thinking about it. You can use our indicators, because we really got a great community kind of learning along together. So yeah, come in at any skill level, right? We'll teach you.
Absolutely. And we have great moderators, great technical analysis, and great community members as well, that help add to Confluence, the discussion. It's all about just keep working together to get better at it. Nobody has a perfect crystal ball. As much as we try to plan for the upside, when it doesn't happen, we have to have contingency plans for these downsides. Just like Juan said, buy the red days. I love it, brother. Community is goated. Thank you, Trader Blue. I've known you for quite some time, OG. My goal has always been to just be as transparent as possible and try to be a source of truth. There's not enough people, in my opinion, out here doing this. I've seen too many of my friends get scammed, and too many of our friends don't really know or understand finance. And this is a great way to kind of dip your toes in. So we appreciate you. Thank you for everything. If you do enjoy what we're doing, help spread the word, like, retweet, all that kind of stuff. Katie, you got anything?
Oh, I don't. How about this? Tomorrow, same ape time, same ape channel. How's that, Pope?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Later, Gators. See you later, alligators.